There's 4 of them. Del Percio was one of them, but he's out. Good afternoon from Newcastle, Delaware, where we are broadcasting from Bill Cole Stadium on a perfect fall day as far as weather is concerned. The homecoming celebration is taking place all around the William Penn High School complex, and the 4-1 Colonials get ready to take on the War Newark Yellow Jackets. Today, my broadcast partner, Mark Sheehan, and the weather, we wish him the best again next week when we're on the air. Greg May is back in the studio producing today's game for us, and we're excited to be providing high school coverage for the 10th consecutive season on Fox Sports 1290 and the audio stream being produced under the director Nick Halliday. Cole Stadium. This matchup between Clark and was one of the fiercest today when Butch Simpson roamed the sidelines for Newark and Bruce Reynolds for the Colonials. And if you look at these two teams strictly from the number of state championships won, you have to consider them the top 2 football programs in Delaware history. William Penn has won 9 football state championships, and what is so impressive is that they've won at least in each of the last decades. Its most recent sport. And the defensive secondary that was repeatedly victimized by Drew Fry and the high-powered Middletown offense. Now 5 of their 8 touched the other points in the Sally's game. So their defense is tough, and Drew Fry has picked apart every defensive secondary that he has faced. But things are looking up for the Colonials. The strength of this team is the defensive front and the linebacking crew. When they get pressure on the quarterback, which they have for every game, other than that Middletown game, they're hard to beat. And the offense has performed much better the past few weeks against a struggling AI, Mount Pleasant, and Appoquinimink team. So this afternoon should provide another opportunity for the Penn offense to smooth out some wrinkles. And let's start talking about that William Penn offense. They're coached by a 3-sport all-state player here at William Penn, Marvin, in his 4th. To have the best chance to make a run at another state title, the first thing he had to do was find of Zach's skills. On the defensive side of the ball, the Colonials lost all-state performers Frank Burton and Brandon Dooley. Frank is now playing at Ball State, where I was talking to his father, Frank Burton Sr., and he said unless somebody gets hurt ahead of him, Frank is probably going to redshirt this year. Unfortunately, Brandon Dooley went away to play at college and tore his ACL. He's already had surgery. His football career is over at the collegiate level, but he does have plans to play baseball at James Madison. Like his father, Brandon Dooley was a 3-sport all-state athlete here at William Penn. Football, wrestling, and baseball. I watched this team live against St. George's, and then I've been watching them on film, and they look as powerful as they've been in recent years. They hang their hat on their defensive performances, and they're big and strong. The 2 main guys have been linebacker Charles Hope and defensive lineman Damir Copeland. Not coincidentally, they're also seniors and team captains. They've been the leaders on a defense that allows only 2 yards per rush and has registered 11 sacks. But while the defensive line and the linebacking corps have done their job, St. George's and Middletown did expose some weaknesses. The question tonight will be whether Newark can give quarterback Nev Lambert, if he's under center, or Makai Pressey, time to get the ball downfield. Now, an issue that both of these teams have is penalties. A total of 49 for William Penn, 47 for Newark in their first 5 games. It's uncharacteristic of a Marvin Dooley coached team to have that many penalties. They're averaging a little over 9 penalties per game. Watching the tape of their games, there are many instances of drive-killing penalties on offense and drive-sustaining infractions on the defensive side. The lack of discipline nearly cost them that game against St. George's, and it hurt them the following week against Middletown. But it's not just specific to them, as I mentioned. Across the field, Coach Barry Zender, the Jackets have been stepped on their own feet with penalties as well, averaging 8 a game, and each penalty has cost them about 7 yards of field position. With both coaches stressing discipline on and off the field, I fully expect we'll see this trend down as they head into the second half of the season. All right, let's talk about the Newark Yellow Jackets, coached by Barry Zender in his first year. They were 1-1 heading into the third game of the season against Appoquinimink, and unfortunately for the Yellow Jackets, they had a tough break in that game, as in a broken fibula in senior quarterback and captain Andrew Del Percio's fibula, knocking the captain out of the lineup for the foreseeable future. Mackay Pressey stepped in to quarterback the team for the rest of that game, and in the next game, when we arrived at Newark for that game against Concord, we found out Coach Zender had decided to make another quarterback change. The move caught us off guard, and maybe that was part of the plan for Zender. His original goal was similar to Coach Dooley's decision with Zach Burton. Let's get an athlete in Mackay Pressey in there and see what happens. Unfortunately for Newark, they had the same issue as William Penn. There was no threat of a passing attack, which obviously allowed defenses to load up the box and go after Pressey. The move to Nev Lambert produced some positive early reviews. He's an athletic kid who can sense and evade the rush, and most surprising to us, threw a beautiful deep ball, twice hitting receivers in stride on go routes with pinpoint accuracy. The kid's only a junior, so if he continues to work and develop, he could play a big role in the resurgence of this program. Actually, correct there, he is a sophomore. Now, I did get a text message from Barry Zender on my drive here, letting me know that Mackay Pressey would be the starting quarterback today. He mentioned that Nev Lambert was going to sit out and watch at least the beginning, and he may or may not get in there. And we're not going to speculate on that, why that decision was made, but that is what we were last told about 2 hours ago. All right, a highlight for Newark in last week's lopsided loss to Concord was the coming out of junior Michael Drumbo Sharp, a wide receiver who had never played organized football at any level until this season. He made his presence known on the basketball court, and like we know Mike Judy did at Smyrna, Coach Zender decided to start working on Sharp last year. Well, whatever recruiting effort Coach Zender put in looks like it may have been worth it. With a quarterback in place who can throw the ball downfield, Coach Zender decided to let the athletic and rangy Sharp loose out on the edge. The result was 2 great stop-and-go routes from Sharp and 2 perfectly placed throws from Lambert, resulting in both of Newark's scores. The only thing that would be better than one good wideout is to be able to bookend him with another, and Newark may have found that player in Isaiah Velez. He was fun to watch on both sides of the ball. He's only a freshman, and you can already see that he is going to be special. He picked up his first interception last week, and he's also caught 10 balls for 159 yards and a touchdown. He demonstrated good hands and an ability to find open spaces in the defense. He showed great speed to the game. As they Concord and stepped in front of an open record and leading rusher Daquan Nev Lambert being laid for the future. All right, one of the busiest guys on this Newark team has been punter Alan Becker, and fortunately for the Yellow Jacks, we joked out a shank, and that's because it's for the shank. Punter have a good one. Mark's got one in. Both come back polls for both Division I and Division II. You're listening to the Game of the Week here on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports. On the William Penn campus, we're a Blue Hen Conference game between the Colonials and the Newark Yellow Jackets as the William Penn campus is buzzing with excitement on this homecoming weekend. I'm John Busby. Marty Sheehan is not with us today. Greg May producing back in the studio. Nick Halliday doing the live stream for 302 Sports. And as I look out over the field, the Newark High Band is performing, and it is just a picture-perfect fall football day. There's a slight wind. Looks like it's out of the east, blowing across the field. We'll see if that has anything to do with today's game. My guess would be the temperatures are in the mid to high 60s. I can tell you from watching my son's flag football games earlier today, when you're in the sun, it feels more like it's in the low 80s. So it doesn't get any better from a football weather standpoint. Take a look at the poll this week. You can see it published in the News Journal every Tuesday. Brad Myers and Jason Levine of the News Journal have partnered with us to put that in there along with their own poll. Always nice to look and see the comparison between the two. As always, for our poll, we want to thank Robert Reed, a Middletown graduate, former player there. He has helped us for the past several years gather the votes for the weekly poll, and it's a tedious job that's under a deadline on Mondays to get into that Tuesday edition, and Robert does a wonderful job with that. All right, let's start with Division I. Unlike most of our this season, got half the schedule already with scores in from last night. Several games started late this morning, and then there are some games both this afternoon and tonight. The Smyrna Eagles did what the Smyrna Eagles do best, and they blew out another team, Sussex Tech, 54-22 win over the Ravens of Sussex Tech. Nolan Henderson had 297 yards, folks, and that was in the first half. Just an incredible quarterback, just a high potent offense. We, of course, did the Smyrna Sallies game, which was a blowout by the end of the first half as well. And this Eagles team is tough to beat. Henderson's going to UD next year, and then they have two running backs, Will Knight and Letty Brown. Letty Brown has several FBS offers. He's got some FCS ones too, but certainly the FBS ones, Louisville and Maryland among those. And so they've got potentially the all-state backfield on that one team with Henderson, Knight, and Letty Brown. So Smyrna is 6-0, and quite frankly, they don't have a loss left on their schedule unless the bus doesn't show up for one of their games. Coming in at number 2 and staying at number 2, Middletown also moved to 6-0 with a 42-0 win over AI last night. Trey Austin, what a defensive performance. 5 interceptions. Those are career numbers, folks. This kid had that in one game, and Middletown showed what everybody suspected, is they are very, very balanced offensively. There were 2 running touchdowns last night, 2 passing touchdowns. Lots of guys in the offense working for the Cavaliers, and so just a wonderful job by the Middletown Cavaliers and Mark Del Percio. So we've got Smyrna, Middletown, Concord at number 3. They play tonight at Sally's. We saw them beat him last week, but as head coach Greg Mitchell said to me during the week, they'll find out what kind of team they are tonight because they take on the Sal's, and then we'll have the broadcast of their final game of the season down at Middletown in week number 10. That could be a game that means the winner has the bye and the loser has to play the following week. So it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out. Coming in at number 4 is Sally's. They are 3-2. They've gotten Josh Patrick more involved in the offense, a kid who's being recruited by Monmouth and a couple other schools. And so as he's gotten more involved in the offense, they've been able to score. They still have those 2 losses, and so it could be a big win for them tonight against Concord. Otherwise, it's possible they might look at that Concord loss, if they do in fact lose, as the game that keeps them out of the playoffs. This William Penn team comes in at number 5. Now, they had their 21-game win streak snapped by Middletown earlier in the season, but then they've had some nice rebound wins against AI, Mount Pleasant, and Appoquinimink in games that weren't close at all. Number 6 is Cape Henlopen. They're up from number 8, and they proved that they deserve to move up, coming away with a 29-14 win over Dover, ruining the Senators' homecoming. Colby Wright with 23 carries and 134 yards. The Senators actually came in ranked number 10 despite having a losing record. It's pretty safe to say they will probably be knocked out of the top 10. Sussex Central moved to 5-1 with a 42-0 win over a winless CR team. Coach Dan trying to get that program turned back around to its heyday, and they got an up 10. We'll see a win today. I guarantee that if that happens. Looking at Division II, Woodbridge seems to be the team to beat. They're 6-0, including 2 wins over Division I opponents, which will certainly help them numbers-wise when it comes time for the playoff calculations. They beat Seaford 54-0, the Blue Jays. And St. George's, after that close opening loss to Division I William Penn, they've rolled over a bunch of teams, including Caesar Rodney, that will give them some playoff points, and they play Hodson today. Milford 6-0, maybe the surprise of the year. The Bucks have not been relevant since their state championship that was won, I believe, back in 2008, but they are 6-0. They hosted Indian River last night and beat them 52-15. Glasgow looks to be for real. They've looked for real for the past couple seasons and then started off strong and then fizzled in the middle. They're trying to avoid that happening, and so far so good. I can't imagine they're going to have any trouble either having beaten already, if that score is a final, or beating Christiana this morning. Christiana struggling this year once again. DMA moved up from number 7 to number 5, and they scored a 37-7 win over Division I Polytech. Again, good from a number standpoint come playoff time. Tatnall stayed at number 6. St. Mark's, a tough loss, 7-0 to Caravel at their homecoming last night. So they dropped to 4-2. Wilmington Friends, they are 4-1, and they play Bishop McDevitt from Cheltenham, Pennsylvania. Howard at 2-3. They're playing at Brandywine this morning under head coach Dan Ritter, of course, the defending state championships. Delmar was not ranked. They moved into the top 10 at number 10, 3-2. After 2 straight wins over Laurel and Lake Forest, they made the long drive up Route 13 to play at Archmere this morning. So that's a look at your Division I and Division II coaches polls. Again, thanks to Robert Reed for putting that together for us each week. It's time now for the DFRC Blue Gold All-Star Senior Player to Watch. The DFRC, the Delaware Foundation, reaching citizens with intellectual disabilities. This year marks the 62nd Blue Gold All-Star Stadium. We'll have that live in June. Visit DFRC Foundation. Defensive backs in the state. Our player to watch is Zach Burton. He started the season at quarterback, but has since moved to wide receiver. He signed a letter of intent to play at the defensive secondary. He's actually eligible to play RC Blue Gold All-Star football game. He certainly would have been selected if he was, and so we felt we'd be remiss not to mention him in this part of the broadcast. He's actually going to be honored this morning, or this afternoon I should say, for having the highest GPA on the William Penn football team. Not just a star on the field, but a star in the classroom as well. Senior Zach Burton is our DFRC Blue Gold player to watch. All right, it's time for our Arby's weekly picks. Arby's, we've got the meats. Marty sent me a text. He takes William Penn 42-20. My pick's an easier one this week. There's just too much for anything other than a big win. Add to that fact that I think Penn has 42-14. All right, coming up next, I'm going to take a look at some of the games that happened last week and some of the ones that still are being played and yet to be played later today. You're listening to the Glasgow Medical Aid Unit's pregame show on Fox Sports 1290, and it's streaming live on 302 Sports. Welcome back to Bill Cole Stadium. The Newark Yellow Jackets have made their way onto the opposing sideline. Across the way from us, the William Penn team is gathering in the end zone to make their grand entrance as the cheerleaders and band have formed a tunnel, so to speak, for them to run through onto the field. It's homecoming here at William Penn. Just a beautiful day, as I've mentioned. I'm not sure it gets any better from a football weather standpoint. The temperatures are in the high 60s, maybe in the low 70s in the sun. There's a slight breeze from the east to the west going across the field. It's out in the parking lot. They had a parade this morning here on the campus, and so just an exciting day of football here for us today as the Blue Hen Conference rivals, Newark Yellow Jackets and William Penn, are getting set to take the field. I'm John Busby. Marty Sheehan not with us today. Greg May back in the studio. Benny Pinella, our normal producer, has the day off also, so we appreciate Greg filling in for him. All right, let's take a look as these teams that already has taken place on the fields last night around the state. Delaware, Mount Pleasant with a 37-0 win over Del Castle. Not a big surprise there. Mount Pleasant not having the year it had last year when they made the playoffs for the first time in forever, but Del Castle has not had a good year in recent history, so no real surprise there. Cape Henlopen made a statement with a 29-14 win over Dover. Now they've beaten Sussex Central and Dover, and they've more or less staked claim to being the second best team in the. Not sure whether or not he will be back before the end of the season, but he is a captain. He's a very strong leader, according to Coach Barry Zender. In fact, Barry Zender said not necessarily from a football standpoint was it a big loss, but one of the big leaders out on the field as well. So the captains are meeting and getting set for the coin toss out there. I mentioned Caesar Rodney losing to Sussex Tech 42-0. Unfortunately, the Riders have not been able to come away with a win yet this year. Sussex Central, you could say they're the third best team in that Henlopen South, but they missed a field goal that would have won that game for them against Cape Henlopen. So other than it being decided on the field, they are a talented team, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not they're maybe able to squeeze out one of the spots. The toss is up, being made by one of the Marines. They're here for a special presentation that I will talk about in a minute, and it looks like they're going to have him toss it again. So he's trying to catch it. If you're watching this on 302 Sports, you can see it. It's kind of comical to see these tough, worthy Marines there having a little bit of a struggle tossing the coin. Newark has won the toss, and they have declined, and so it will be William Penn's option to see what they want to do. William Penn is going to defend the north end zone. Newark when it is all said and done. So those two guys are receiving medals of It's a picture-perfect day here. It's homecoming for the William Penn Colonials, and this campus has been a buzz all week. My wife's a teacher here, and she said it was like a holiday leading up. Here, kicking off for Newark will be Zach Dakin, a soccer player who moonlights here for the football team, and back deep for William Penn is Taryn Cochran on one side, and he is flanked on the other side by a teammate, and that's where the ball is going to go, and they have it at the 10, up to the 15, 20, 25, 30, breaks to the outside, 35, 40, and he could go all the way. He's got one man to beat. He gets a block. Keith Johnson with a touchdown to start this homecoming game off, 6-0, William Penn. And that was just an opportunity where Keith Johnson took the ball at the 5-yard line and just scampered up the middle, and he went untouched once he broke out to the left. He had a man in front to take care of Zach Dakin, and so a 95-yard touchdown return for Keith Johnson gets things underway quickly for the William Penn Colonials, and that's going to bring on kicker Ryan Robertson, who is 18 of 20 on extra points this season. Holding for him is Noah Ogben, a transfer from Dover High. The snap is back. It's down. The kick is up, and it is good. So a mere 13 seconds into this game, William Penn has taken a 7-0 lead. We're going to take our first break. You're listening to the Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290, watching it live on 302 Sports. Welcome back to Bill Cole Stadium, and it didn't take very long. Keith Johnson's 95-yard touchdown return for a touchdown on the opening kick puts William Penn up 7-0 here to kickstart this homecoming celebration. On the kick is Ryan Robertson for William Penn. The kick is up, and it's going to come up a little bit short, fielded at the 30-yard line. That looks like Alex Pollard, and he's going to be taken down at they're going to give him the 30-yard line as the forward progress there. And so a nice job there by the William Penn coverage team. It was actually Daquan Woods who ended up with the ball in his hand. So coming out to start at quarterback for Newark is Makai Pressey. Pressey was forced into action during the Appoquinimink game when Andrew Del Percio went down with an injury, and they quickly made a change a game later to Nev Lambert, but Lambert is not starting today. Makai Pressey is in. He's 5 of 12 for 25 yards. He does have 2 interceptions, and the snap goes back to him in the shotgun. He tries to get around the left. Is tackled by so athletic of the 2 quarterbacks. Coach Zender had planned to start Nev Lambert, and apparently there was a reason or an issue. He didn't want to get into it as to why Makai Pressey is starting. He did tell me earlier in the week that Makai Pressey would probably get some playing time under center just to mix things up, kind of in a wildcat situation, but Pressey is starting for the Yellow Jackets. 2nd and 13, a 3-yard loss on that play. Ball on the 27-yard line. It's directly in the middle of the 2 hash marks, and it's a handoff underneath to Sutton. He gets around the right edge there and gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Going to bring up a 3rd down. Sutton came into the game with 29 tackles on defense. He has not touched the ball very much on the offensive side of things. So again, maybe Barry Zender just trying to mix it up a little bit here. So it is 3rd and 11 for this Newark team. A drive that started on the 30-yard line, lost 3 yards, and now they are back on the 30-yard line. Pressey is in the shotgun position. 2 wide receivers out to the left, 1 to the right. And it looked like some movement, and a flag is down now. So Pressey is going to come back. Pressey scampers around to the 45, gets out to midfield, 50-yard line to the 46-yard line of William Penn. But my guess is this one is going to come back. It is a illegal shift, and so that big run there by Pressey for all for naught there. But that gives you an idea of how athletic Pressey is, and why when they made the change to Lambert is more of a true quarterback, and so their thinking was, let's get the ball in Pressey's hands. And when Lambert was in last week for the Concord game that we were at, he didn't have a lot of touches. I forget the exact statistics that he came away with last Concord. There are no slouches on defense. So anyway, 3rd and 15, ball on the 25-yard line. Pressey is in the shotgun position. It looks like Sutton is flanked off to his right. Pressey's going to go deep, and it's going to overthrow his man, and almost intercepted there. That was Joe Greenwood, the captain for William Penn. And so Pressey had to get rid of it sooner than he wanted to, looking for his man out on the left. Newark's got the white jerseys with the yellow numbers. That was Isaiah Velez, who came into the game with 10 receptions for 159 yards and a touchdown, who Pressey was trying to hit on that play, wasn't able to do so. So it's going to bring up a 4th down for Newark. Newark, by the way, has yet to score in the first quarter of a game this year. Alan Becker comes on to punt. He had an outstanding performance last week. Back is Taryn Cochran for the Colonials on his own 32-yard line. The punt is up, and they're trying to keep it away from Cochran, and it just bounces. And Cochran comes up and picks it up at the 50-yard line and then drags a couple Newark Yellow Jackets to the 43-yard line is where they are going to mark it. So William Penn is going to take over on the Newark 43-yard line. 9:34 to play here in the first quarter. Homecoming at William Penn, and the Colonials have a 7-0 lead on Keith Johnson's 95-yard touchdown run to start the game. 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line. Jason Gildersleeve making his first appearance on the field. The slots are filled on both sides. One wide receiver out to the right. The give is to Joe Greenwood on the blast up the middle, and the Newark Yellow Jackets stop him after a pickup of 2. They're going to mark it, actually a pickup of 1. They're going to mark it at the 42-yard line. Nice job by the Newark Yellow Jackets. And one thing that impressed Marty and I last week is even in the second half, when it was a running clock against Concord, this Newark team never gave up. They never gave up. They gave 110% on both sides of the ball. 2nd and 9, ball on the 42-yard line. William Penn with its first offensive possession. Man in motion is Gaynor, and a flag comes down. Newark has indicated that it is against William Penn, and it is a false start. So each team now has 1 penalty, and that's going to back the Colonials up. We mentioned in the pregame show, William Penn came into this game with 49 penalties. Newark came in with 47. So I guess it shouldn't be a big surprise that both teams have picked up a penalty on their first possession. So that's going to bring up 3rd and 14. Ball on the 47-yard line. Gildersleeve is in the pistol formation. Joe Greenwood behind him. Gaynor goes in motion. Gildersleeve slings it over, and is it intercepted? No, they're saying it hit the ground. He was trying to hit Taryn Cochran, overthrew him, and then Velez, the freshman for Newark, who picked up his first interception last week, almost came up with it, and they said it hit the ground. No argument from the freshman Velez, so must have been legitimate. He actually has 2 interceptions on the season, one of them last week. A freshman who looks good on both sides of the ball. Going to bring up a 3rd and 14. Gildersleeve in the pistol formation. That's Taryn Cochran out on the right, and Gaynor goes in motion, and the give is to Greenwood, and he gets almost taken down. I'm sorry, that is Angelo Ortiz, and he's going to be brought down at the 42-yard line, so well shy of the first down. We'll see if Coach Marvin Dooley decides to go for it here. They are on the Newark 42-yard line, and it looks like they're going to send in the punting unit. Now, Zach Burton is the punter for this William Penn team, but it's kind of nice when your punter can also throw the ball, and he's perhaps the best athlete on the field. So while they are set up for the punt formation here, it will be interesting to see if they actually do end up punting it away. The snap is back. The right-handed kicker Burton punts it away. There's no returner back for Newark. They were thinking, as I was, that it may not actually get punted away, but instead it does, and it is down by William Penn on the 7-yard line, and the Newark offense will come back onto the field. So 7:44 to play. Newark's got the ball, trailing 7-0. We'll see if Makai Pressey comes out. It does look like Pressey is heading into the huddle to lead this team on its second possession of the game. If you're just tuning in, Keith Johnson got this game started in a big way with a 95-yard touchdown return for a touchdown. It's homecoming here at William Penn, so you can imagine that got the crowd into an uproar early. Pressey is in the shotgun position. There's one back with him, flanked off to the left, and it's a fake to the back, and Pressey keeps it, and he tries to get over the left tackle, and he's going to maybe make it back to the line of scrimmage. We'll see where they mark it, and it's going to be marked at about the 6.5-yard line, so we'll say it's going to be 2nd and 10 for the Newark Yellow Jackets. Now, I can just hear Marty Sheehan, if he was with me today, talking about how if all they're going to do is give the ball to Pressey and let him run it, they're not going to have much luck against this William Penn defense, because this William Penn defense is good to begin with. They're even better if they know what you're going to do. So I think Newark's going to have to mix it up a little bit here. 2nd and 10, ball on the 7-yard line. The Newark Yellow Jacket offense is as far away from us here in the press box as they can get. And again, it's a fake up the middle. Pressey keeps it, and he is hit hard there by Charles Hope, one of the captains of this William Penn team. And Pressey got to about the 9-yard line, so it's going to bring up a 3rd and probably 8 yards to go for the Newark Yellow Jackets. This is a Yellow Jacket team that has not scored in the first quarter in any of their 5 games with 6:38 to play. Here, they trail William Penn 7-0. Pressey goes over to get the call from his coach, Barry Zender. In his first year he played here for Newark, he said he doesn't have a lot of fond memories playing at Bill Cole Stadium. It was a fierce rivalry back when he played here in the 90s, I believe it was. Pressey drops back and he hits Pollard on a little bubble screen. Pollard comes up the middle, and Hope, along with a host of tacklers, including Demir Copeland, quickly bottle him up. They're going to mark it, his forward progress, at the 11-yard line. Going to bring up a 4th down, and that's going to bring Alan Becker on to punt for the Yellow Jackets. Becker, as we mentioned, has an exceptional foot. Unfortunately for the Yellow Jackets, he's had a lot of opportunities to punt, but when he does punt, they're usually pretty good. Taryn Cochran, the junior, is back at the Newark 40-yard line. A low snap, which we saw a couple times. Great job by Becker. Cochran's going to take it at the 40-yard line, cut back to the middle to the 35, the 30, up the middle, 25, 20, one man to beat, 10, 5, touchdown. So just like that, Cochran has a 40-yard punt return for a touchdown to give William Penn a 13-0 lead for Cochran. That's his 3rd touchdown of the season. So a 40-yard punt return for a touchdown by Cochran, and it's 13-0 William Penn. Just like that. So special teams so far for the Colonials has made it happen. Keith Johnson with a 95-yard touchdown return on the opening kickoff, and now a 40-yard touchdown return on the punt by Cochran. And on to kick is Ryan Robertson. He's 19 of 21 on the season. The hold is down by Noah Ogden. The kick is up, and it is good. So with 5:28 to play here at Bill Cole Stadium, William Penn has gone up 14-0. We're going to take our second break. You're listening to the Fox Sports Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports. UD is at William and Mary, and kickoff's at 3:30, which should be just as we're wrapping things up here at Bill Cole Stadium. So tune in and hear Scott Klatskin and Matt Janis bring you all the action on our sister station, WDSD. The kick is away, and it is taken at the 30-yard line. The run is around to the 35, up to the 34 is where they're going to end up taking it down, and that was big Alex Pollard, who plays fullback frequently for the Yellow Jackets. Haven't seen him in that position yet today, but Newark will take over. They're going to mark it on the 35-yard line, so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Yellow Jackets. 5:20 to play here. William Penn with a 14-0 lead as they celebrate homecoming. It's been special teams that has made it happen. Keith Johnson's 95-yard touchdown return to open the game, and then Taryn Cochran just returned a punt 40 yards for a score to put William Penn up 14-0. I'm John Busby. Greg May back in the studio. Marty Sheehan's off this week. He'll join us next week at AI DuPont when the Tigers take on St. Elizabeth. Pressey still in at quarterback. It's a fake up the middle to Woods, and Pressey keeps it and gets to the 35-yard line, so going to bring up a 2nd down and 10. No gain on the play there. This William Penn defense is tough. They're big. They're strong. I went and saw them play in their opener against St. George's, a game that they struggled. In fact, they needed a late touchdown by Zach Burton to come away for with a victory there. But they impressed me despite losing Brandon Dooley and All-State and Frank Burton and All-State defensive side of the ball. They looked as big, as agile, and as quick as I've seen them in recent years. So they've shown that so far, forcing Newark to punt both times that they've had the ball. 2nd and 10, balls on the right hash mark. Newark in their white jerseys, black pants, and gold helmets, moving left to right. As I see it, the give is to Daquan Woods around the other end, almost brought down there by Gaynor. Instead, it looked like Charles Hope, who ends up bringing them down after a gain of 3. Going to bring up a 3rd down. Now, Daquan Woods had a kind of a his biggest game of the season was that win against Mount Pleasant. And Coach Barry Zender had said that is the Daquan Woods that we know that there can be. But he has struggled, and so hasn't gotten back to that level of play since then. I guess they've had a couple issues, discipline issues, and, Barry Zender said, he wants people to know that they take it very seriously, that these kids do what they are expected to do if they want to get on the field. And so hats off to Woods to being back on the field. Pressey fumbles the snap. He's being flushed out of the pocket. He scrambles around to the right, and he's dragged down from behind. That was Demir Copeland who grabbed him by the shoulder pad and dragged him down. So it looked like Pressey was trying to get the ball deep to either Sharp or Velez, and instead he's going to end up losing yardage back to the original line of scrimmage. Going to bring up a 4th down for the Yellow Jackets, and that will bring on the punting unit once again. Taryn Cochran will be back lined up. He, of course, just sprinted 40 yards to return a touchdown to put William Penn up 14-0. He's at the 35-yard line. Alan Becker is in to kick for Newark. We'll see if he tries to keep the ball away from Cochran. No, he kicks it right to him, but it looks like good coverage. Cochran gets it on his own 32. He escapes the first tackler up the right sideline looking for a block, and instead he's pushed out of bounds. They're going to mark it at the Newark 48-yard line, so that's where the Yellow Jackets will start. The William Penn will start their next possession with 2:49 to play here in the first quarter. The Colonials have a 14-0 lead, and the ball on the Newark 47-yard line as Gildersleeve comes in. Jason Gildersleeve goes by the nickname Deuce, and so you can imagine he wears number 2 for the Colonials. They're decked out in their cherry red, as they call it, jerseys, black pants, and the traditional black helmets with the WP initials on it. Gaynor goes in motion, and it looks like Gildersleeve's looking deep. He's trying to hit his man over the middle. Miles Tatum stretched out for that ball at about the 20-yard line. Couldn't come in with the catch. Tatum hasn't gotten a lot of balls thrown his way, so maybe surprised Newark there. If the pass was there, Tatum probably could have had it. I don't think he would have scored because he had to dive after, but a more accurate pass and might have been a big play there. So caught Newark off guard as Miles Goodson Tatum, a senior tight end, 6 feet tall, 210 pounds. He actually looks bigger than that. Going to bring up a 2nd and 10 for William Penn. 14-0 lead, 2:43 to play here in the first quarter. John Busby going solo this week. Marty Sheehan under the weather. We look forward to having him back next week. The give is up the middle on a play they call the blast, and it picks up, it looks like about 5, maybe 6 yards. I think it was Joe Greenwood on the carry there, and so we're going to bring up a, they're going to say it was a 3rd and 5 for the Colonials as Jason Gildersleeve jogs back onto the field, getting the call from Marvin Dooley. DJ Johnson was the quarterback for the last 2 years for William Penn, and he really ran the show his senior. There's been a lot of conversation between knew what he was doing the entire time, and they're hoping Gildersleeve does the same. Gaynor goes in motion on the end around. The flag comes in. If the play stands, it's going to be a William Penn first down as Gaynor gets to the 35-yard line. We'll see what they do here. Gaynor went in motion and took the handoff, and it's going to be a hold on William Penn. So their 2nd penalty of the day, and that's going to negate what would have been a first down for the Colonials. They're going to march this one back. So a break for Newark there. You can see the Newark players, if you're watching this on the live 302 sports stream, look a little winded. And that might be because, this William Penn team, they run a lot, they're tough, and they're big. And so it takes a lot out of the opposing defenses to try to keep up with them. That being said, the Newark defense hasn't been on the field a whole lot because of the punting returns and also the kickoff returns for the Colonials. 3rd and 15, ball on the 47-yard line of William Penn. Gainer goes in motion. Gildersleeve drops back, and he's looking to throw. He gets forced out of the pocket, evades somehow a couple tackles, still being chased, and scampers out of bounds at the 42-yard line. So a nice defensive job there by Newark is going to force to punt. Defense certainly doing its job. As I mentioned, the only 2 scores were by special teams. William Penn has not been able to move the ball, punting twice when their offense has been on the field. And so Zach Burton will be on to punt, the University of Virginia commit. He'll play in the defensive secondary for the University of Virginia squad next year. The kick is away. Pressey is back. He fields it on his toes, and the ball fumbles away from him, but he jumps back on top of it on the 25-yard line. So a little bit risky there. Fortunately for Pressey, the ball stayed right there. So Newark has the ball. Their offense will come back onto the field. We'll see whether Pressey is going to continue or whether or not Nev Lambert will come back in. He got his first varsity start last week. It looks like Pressey is still the man here. 1:30 to play. William Penn with a 14-0 lead over the Yellow Jackets. You can hear the band on the crowd mic. It's homecoming, and the crowd is still filling in here. Pressey is flanked on both sides by Pollard and Sutton. He's in the shotgun formation. 2 wide receivers stacked on the right, and it looks like they're trying to set up a bubble screen. No shot of doing that as Pressey is brought down in the backfield. In on that sack was Isaiah Gainer, among a couple others, and so that was a play that looked well on paper but ended up not working. They're going to give him, actually Pressey was able to splurge back up close to the original line of scrimmage, and so they're going to mark it at, and it's a 2nd down at the 18-yard. Actually, I'm sorry, he lost 7 yards. It's 2nd down and 17 yards. They moved the yardage marker there before I had a chance to see it move. So 2nd down and 17. 52 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Pressey in the shotgun position. Backs flanked on both sides to give us to Pollard up the middle, and he tries to get some of the yardage back. It looks like he's going to pick up about 3 yards. 40 seconds to play here in the first quarter. William Penn with a 14-0 lead. And it is going to be 3rd and looks like about 20 for Newark. Daquan Woods runs the call in for Pressey. Pressey, a very athletic quarterback, as we mentioned. He's a senior, listed at 225 pounds. He doesn't look 225 pounds. He looks a little bit thinner than that, but we'll go with what we have. 2 receivers stacked on the right. The backs are split, and the give is to the back on the left, and it's up the middle, and nothing there. I believe that was Daquan Woods, and actually lost a yard. Going to bring up a 4th down for the Yellow Jackets. And so Newark, once again, they've had the ball 3 times, and they've punted 3 times, and that's going to bring us to the end of the first quarter. It's 14-0, William Penn over Newark. You're listening to Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week and watching it live on 302 Sports. Welcome back to Bill Cole Stadium. John Busby going solo today. Marty Sheehan under the weather. We wish him well. Join us back. Coming. Not over Newark, both scores. Teams. Keith Johnson opened the game with a 9-yard touch, and then Taryn Cochran a 40. 30-yard line. Alan Becker is in to kick for Newark. The snap sails over his head into the end zone. He runs it down, gets the kick away. It's going to bounce at the 37. It's taken there by Cochran at the 25-yard line. So a near disaster there, and then a late flag comes in. It looks like it's going to be a late hit on Newark. So we saw the long snapper for Newark struggle last week. Alan Becker job 8 times. William Penn was 4, so they're still going to have good field position when it's all said and done, but a nice job by Alan Becker. We talked about his skills as a punter, but his skills also extend to having good hands, because he's had a couple times had to scoop balls off the ground last week, had to scoop one off the ground on his last punt, and then this one sailed over his head. He had no shot to get it, but he ran it down and got the kick away. But William Penn's going to have the ball on the Newark 37-yard line, hoping to punch one in here. Actually, the Newark 32-yard line, excuse me. Gildersleeve with a toss to Joe Greenwood to the left. Greenwood comes back over the tackle position and gets up to about the 27, maybe 28-yard line for William Penn. They're moving left to right as I see it. Tune in to the Blue Hens Football Coaches Show every Wednesday at 7 o'clock on 94.7 WDSD as the voice of the Blue Hens, Scott Klatskin, talks UD football with head coach Dave Brock. All right, it's going to be 2nd and 4. Ball on the 27-yard line. 2 wide receivers out to the right, 2 backs offset in the backfield, and it's a pitch to the right around the right side. That's Joe Greenwood again across the 20 to the 15, spins off of the tackler and brought down at the 10-yard line. So that's going to give William Penn a 1st and goal to go on the 10-yard line. So a nice pitch to Joe Greenwood. Took advantage of a couple good blocks laid out in front of him to get down to the 10-yard line. 11 minutes to play, 11:03 to be exact here in the second quarter. William Penn with a 14-0 lead, putting together its first successful offensive drive. When the offense has been on the field, they've had to punt both times, and this time they're finally getting something working here. Zach Burton is split out wide to the left. Gildersleeve takes a quick handoff up the middle. Ortiz barrels into the end zone for the score. A 10-yard touchdown run by Angelo Ortiz gives William Penn a 20-0 lead. And that play was designed perfectly. I think Zach Burton was actually used as a decoy way out to the left, and it pulled one of the defensive safeties over to that side to help in the double coverage. And the give was to Ortiz up the middle. That's his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season for Angelo Ortiz. It's 20-0 with 10:42 to play. On to kick is Ryan Robertson. He's a perfect 2 for 2 today, 20 for 22 on the season. Noah Ogben, the backup quarterback, has the hold. It's down, and the kick is good. So with 10:42 to play, William Penn is up 21-0 over Newark. You're listening to the Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week and watching it live on 302 Sports. Welcome back to Bill Cole Stadium. William Penn has scored on the offense for the first time. They've got 2 special team scores. They lead 21-0, 10:42 to play. The lead over the Newark Yellow Jackets. I'm John Busby. Marty Sheehan just sent me a text message that says he's feeling better. We're glad to hear that and look forward to having him back in the booth next week. So Nick Halliday's got the live stream for 302 Sports. Greg May back in the studio for us. Robertson's kick is away. It's a short kick. Not sure if he did that on purpose. Bounces at the 30, and William Penn recovers. No, Newark ends up falling on it. Looked like about 4 guys had a chance to recover that, including Keith Johnson, but instead it was Newark that ended up covering it. So a nice job there. Robertson put it in a perfect position unexpectedly. I think everybody, including me, expected him to kick it as deep as he could, and instead he just kind of pooched it into an open space. And like I said, a couple William Penn guys had a shot to recover that kick. You can see the coaches just kind of shaking their head. They did it exactly what they wanted to do, just didn't work out. So instead it's going to be Newark's ball on the 30-yard line. We'll see who comes in under center here for Newark. It looks like Mackay Pressey is still going to be here. Nev Lambert started the last game, and we expected him. In fact, he was slated to start this game, but a last-minute decision to bring in Mackay Pressey, who is one of the more athletic kids on the field, and it's a fake handoff. Pressey keeps it, and he is taken down after about a 1-yard loss. Gainer on the tackle. And so Mackay's run the ball on his biggest rush was called back because of an illegal shift penalty. He actually had a first down on a 30-plus yard scamper, but it was all for naught after the penalty. So going to bring up a 2nd down and 11 for Newark. On the ball is on the 29-yard line. They are moving right to left or north to south here at Bill Cole Stadium, named after, of course, one of the legendary coaches of this Newark program. The give is to Brian Sutton, and he tries to get around the right side, and he's going to be brought down there. In on that tackle was Demir Copeland. We've called his name a couple times tonight. He's going to pick up 3 yards, so it's going to bring up a 3rd and 8 for the Yellow Jackets. I mentioned it once. I'll say it again. The Yellow Jackets have not scored in the first quarter, so they have struggled in all of their games, even their 17-3 win over Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant kicked that field goal, and so Newark has struggled this year early on in games. They've also struggled in the fourth quarter. They've actually scored for the first time in the fourth quarter last week against Concord, but until that point, and that was with a running clock, the game was pretty much over. And so they've struggled in the fourth quarter as well. Newark looks like they're a little confused. They've got 3 wide receivers out to the left. 3rd and 7, and it's a give underneath to Daquan Woods. He scampers around the left side, escapes one tackle, and then gets pulled down by Zach Burton at the 29-yard line. So a pickup, it's going to bring up a 4th down. Burton picked up, Woods picked up maybe 1 yard, going to bring up a 4th and 6, and you would have to assume Newark is going to come on and punt. This will be their 4th punt in as many possessions. Although Pressey is coming back onto the field, not sure about this strategy here. They are on the William 4, their own 35 line. 30 makes sense, but I think you know what to lose at this 4 losses, probably not officially, but probably eliminated in the postseason. So they're going to go for it on 4th down. Pressey's going to take it. He's going to work around the right side. He's across the 35 to the 40, and he picks up the 1st down before being knocked down. So Barry Zender takes the chance. The tackle was by Collins Giamfi. And Barry Zender took the chance. He put the ball in the hands of his best athlete, Mackay Pressey, and they pick up a 1st down. So the first down of the game for the Newark Yellow Jackets. And you have to wonder if maybe that caught the William Penn defense off guard, because it was a nice run and a nice execution by this Newark Yellow Jacket team that hasn't had a lot of success on offense this season. 1st and 10, ball on the 43-yard line. Pressey's in the backfield. It gives to Sutton up the middle, and he's taken down behind the line of scrimmage. They're going to give him a gain once he touched the ball of about 2, which still is going to equate to a 1-yard loss for the Yellow Jackets. Going to bring up a 2nd and 11. John Busby here, Marty Sheehan under the weather today, but feeling better, probably tuned in at home. At least I hope he's tuned in, listening along with his mother, Alice, who is one of our biggest fans, if not the biggest fan we have, tunes into all our broadcasts and keeps in touch by text during the broadcast. So hello to Alice and Marty. We hope you're feeling better as the day goes on. Look forward to having you back in the booth next week. 2nd down, 11 to go. Ball on the 42-yard line. Pressey in the shotgun, drops back. He's looking to pass. He gets tagged down, but he's got Sharp to the 20-yard line. 15 brought down. So Michael Sharp who got 2 passes thrown to him last week and scored on both. It's a great hook up there between Pressey and Sharp. Sharp, a basketball player who's just coming into his own, so a big pass and run there down to the 15-yard line gives Newark a 1st and 10 on the 15, and they're in the red zone for the first time today. And that Sharp kid is impressive. As I mentioned last week, he had the ball thrown to him twice, and both times he scored on the catch and then run after the catch. He's an athletic kid. He plays basketball for Shannon McCants, and similar to what Mike Judy's done in Smyrna, Barry Zender's trying to get the best athletes in the school who don't play in the fall out on the football team. 2 wide receivers stacked on the right. Pressey's looking for it, looking to pass. Now he tucks it. He's rolling out, back out to his left, forced out. He wants to throw the ball. He can't. Instead, he finds a hole, runs up the middle, but he gets to about the 12-yard line before he's brought down by Collins, Dude Giampfi on the tackle there for William Penn. So Pressey wanted to throw the ball. He had wide receivers scampering around in the end zone, so you do have to credit the William Penn secondary there for keeping that from turning in to a touchdown. The ball is going to be marked on the 12-yard line. 2nd and having a little bit in here. We'll keep an eye on the back judge to see if he signals within the 10 seconds that they need to get it off. Newark breaks the huddle. 5:35 to play. William Penn 21. Newark nothing, but the Yellow Jackets banging on the door here with the ball at the 12-yard line. 2 wide receivers flanked out to the right. And a flag goes down. Usually means this is against the offense. The ball was not snapped. And we couldn't see the signal, but it was against Newark. And so it's the 2nd penalty for Newark again. The Yellow Jackets came into this game with 47 penalties, William Penn with 49. And after both teams picked up a penalty on their first possession, things have settled down a bit. That's just the 2nd penalty for Newark, as I mentioned, and William Penn has 3. So that's going to back the ball up to the 17-yard line and bring up a 2nd and 12 from the 17 for Newark. They've got 2 wide receivers. That's Sharp and Velez stacked on the right, and then on the left is Holly. And Pressey throws it into the end zone looking for Velez, and it falls helplessly onto the turf. That was Taryn Cochran for William Penn, was the closest one to that pass. So that was a timing pattern. That timing didn't go so well. And, we mentioned Pressey was not slated, so my guess is the number in the week we're very limited at quarterback. So timing's going to be off when that happens. And so, but Pressey's trying. I like what Barry Zender's doing. He's trying to mix it up. He's trying to use his athletic quarterback not only for his feet, but his arm as well. And I think that's his best shot to stay in this game. Newark trails 21-0, 4:58 to play, as William Penn so far is enjoying this homecoming game. Snap is back to Pressey. He just tucks and runs this one, and he tries to get around the right edge, and no go there as he gets tackled on the 20-yard line by a host of players, including Angelo Ortiz. And so that is going to bring up a 4th down, and looks like about 15. No question the Yellow Jackets will go for it here. Remember, they went for 4th down back on their own 35-yard line, and Pressey had a nice pick up. And we'll see what Barry will play. Here's Ender at Newark, the team. They weren't a great season. What Zender's trying to do is he's trying to continue to rebuild a foundation. Anytime you lose a coach who was here for 39 years in Butch Simpson, you've got a long road ahead of you trying to get back to the glory days. Pressey takes the snap. He backs up. He's looking for his receiver, and instead he gets flushed out, and he gets spun around and knocked down at the 15-yard line. So it's going to be a turnover on downs, and that was Isaiah Gaynor, one of the defensive captains who came in there. So turnover on downs for Newark. And William Penn is going to take over. They're going to mark it on the 15-yard line. 3:57 to play here in the first half. William Penn with a 21-0 lead. And the William Penn Colonials are coming out onto the field. Gildersleeve and Zach Burton running side by side. Coming up on the Fox Sports 1290 AM halftime report, our producer and studio host Greg May will have football news and scores along with a preview of the weekend's matchups. Plus, we'll be back with a review of the first 24 minutes of action. It's all coming up at the half. So William Penn is going to start with the ball on the 15-yard line, 3:57 to play, and there is a flag on the play before anybody even gets set. So that might be an illegal substitution penalty of some sort. Referee is giving the signal, and William Penn is going to march back 5 yards. That's their fourth penalty of the game. Is going to take them back to the 10-yard line. It's their 53rd penalty on the season, so something Marvin Dooley certainly not proud of and wants to clean up as this season goes on. So 1st and 15, ball on the 10-yard line. Gildersleeve is in the shotgun position. Man goes in motion. Gildersleeve drops back, and he hoists the ball up in the air looking for the receiver. That was Zach Burton. He was trying to get the ball to, and a nice tip away by Isaiah Velez there, who has 2 interceptions on the season. So a timing pattern. The timing was there. The throw was good. Just a nice defensive play by Isaiah Velez. Going to bring up a 2nd and 15 for William Penn. Gildersleeve running onto the field. He puts in a lot of yardage there every time he has to run over and talk to head coach Marvin Dooley. We mentioned Marvin Dooley in the pregame show, a three-sport first-team All-State player in football, wrestling, and baseball when he was here. Actually played minor league baseball. His son Frank, also was a three-sport All-State player here. The give on the end around is to Gaynor. Gaynor scampers around the end, gets across the 27-yard line before he is tackled out of bounds by Daquan Woods. So the end around play, which they faked a couple times, worked that time when they actually handed the ball off to Isaiah Gaynor. He's got 2 rushing touchdowns coming in to the game today. William Penn trying to put together its second successful offensive drive. The first 2 scores were on a kickoff return by Keith Johnson and a punt return by Taryn Cochran. And then they finally put together an offensive drive capped off by Angelo Ortiz's 10-yard scamper into the end zone, which made it 21-0. That's where we stand now, 3:20 to play here in the second quarter of this homecoming game. The school celebrating its 50th anniversary being a public school in the Colonial School District. Gildersleeve drops back, and he zings it out. He's got his man at the 32-yard line on the left. That's Zach Burton. Burton makes a couple moves, and they're going to give him his forward progress to right where the chain is at the 39-yard line. That should be a first down based on where the referee is standing. So a nice job there by Gildersleeve getting the ball out quickly to Zach Burton so that he had time to catch it and then make a football move before the defense collapsed on him. So a great job there by both quarterback and wide receiver. Going to bring up a 1st and 10 on the 40-yard line. Balls on the left hash mark. William Penn's moving left to right as we see it. Joe Greenwood is in the backfield. Gaynor goes in motion. Gildersleeve drops back looking to pass. He gets it out to the flat. That's Burton again. Burton taken down at the 46-yard line. A flag on the play as well as an injured William Penn Colonial, but he actually gets picked up pretty quickly and is back in. That was Joe Greenwood, who was down, but his teammates helped him out, and he'll run off here. And it looks like Marvin Dooley is going to take a timeout. They want the flag sorted out first, so we're going to take a break, but not yet. We're going to keep it here while they sort this out, because actually now Marvin Dooley looks like he maybe doesn't want the timeout. He got the stoppage he wanted, and he got his team over to talk to them while the referees were sorting out the flag situation here. And the flag is going to be against William Penn. It's a hold. Barry Zender wants that, and so they're going to drop them back 10 yards. So 5th penalty of the game. They're averaging 9.5 a game, William Penn is, so they are right on pace to keep up, and that's not a stat that Coach Marvin Dooley is proud of. And it does look like Marvin Dooley is going to take a timeout. We'll take it with him. William Penn 21, Newark nothing. 2:39 to play here in the first half. You're listening to the High School Football Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports. A big thanks to our newest partner, NKN Films, for their outstanding design on our 2016 high school football schedule poster featuring this year's games and our Fox Sports 10th anniversary team. Check out the poster at foxsports1290am.com and visit nknfilms.com for all your video needs. 1st and 20, William Penn. Gildersleeve drops back. He gets flushed out. He's looking for Cochran down the middle. Instead, Mackay Pressey becomes almost the recipient on the defensive end. So a nice throw there. Cochran had to become a defender on that play, and Pressey almost came up with the interception, going to bring up a 2nd down. 20 to go after the holding penalty against William Penn, their 5th of the day, right before we went to commercial break. Gildersleeve jogging out onto the field with the play, and Taryn Cochran is going to get a breather after having to scamper down the field on that long pass from Gildersleeve. Gildersleeve, the more natural quarterback of the two between Zach Burton and himself, but does not have the athletic skills that Burton has, although he is a good athlete, there's no doubt about it, but Zach Burton is a great athlete, so it would be tough for anybody to fill those shoes. And a whistle again. The give on the end around was to Gaynor, but that play is going to be negated, a false start. So the 6th penalty for William Penn, and that's going to drop it back to a 2nd and 25 for the Colonials that have a 21-0 lead here with 2:30 to play on a beautiful football day. There's a slight wind. Keeps blowing my papers around here in the press box. It's a crosswind, so it's not really impacting the play on the field, and both of these teams for the most part are running teams, although William Penn has thrown the ball a little bit more than usual today. So 2nd and 25. The give is to Gaynor. He gets around the right side and he gets brought down, and actually he's still on his feet and finally brought down. So a great job by Gaynor staying on his feet. He gets up to the 30-yard line before several Newark Yellow Jackets were needed to take him down. And so he's back actually to the original line of scrimmage, going to bring up a 3rd and 10. The clock is running. We are at the 2-minute mark. William Penn, when they come out of the huddle, will have the ball at the 31-yard line. This Newark defense has had a good day today. They've only given up the one drive to William Penn. Their other two scores coming on a kick return and a punt return. So William Penn has the ball, 3rd and 10. Gildersleeve takes the snap. He drops back. He looks for his wide receiver, overthrows Amir Holly, and the ball sails into the Newark bench. And so that's going to bring on Zach Burton and the punting unit for William Penn on 4th and 10. So Newark will get the ball back with one last chance to try to put points on the board. They were stopped on downs after a big pass. Reception by Mike Sharp got him down to the 10-yard line. A penalty pushed him back a little bit more, and Newark ended up having to turn it over on downs. We'll see what they are able to do here as Isaiah Velez drops back, and a kick is away by Burton. It's a beauty, and it takes a William Penn bounce, and it's going to end up stopping on the 11-yard line. So a beautiful kick by Zach Burton, the multi-talented athlete who will play at the University of Virginia. And Newark is going to start the ball. With the ball, they're going to end up marking it at the 12-yard line with 1:29 to play here in the first half. Special Olympics Unified Flag Football is being played at 8 schools across the state as high school students with and without disabilities play against each other in games that fall under the umbrella of the DIAA. For a list of schools playing and a schedule of regular season games, go to www.sode.org. And William Penn has a team in that flag football. One of the neatest things is this, the state championship game for the Unified Flag Football is played at Delaware Stadium between the D1 and D2 games. So 1st and 10, ball on the 12-yard line. Newark has it, moving right to left, directing traffic there. The ball comes back, and Nev Lambert is in, and he is greeted by a rush and a sack at the 4-yard line. So Nev Lambert, who we expected to start for Newark, and then Coach Barry Zender actually sent me a text message. He was kind enough to do that, to give me the heads up that he wouldn't start, and Mekhi Pressey, who is the original backup. Of course, Andrew Del Percio is hurt, broken fibula, not sure when he's coming back. Mekhi Pressey was the backup quarterback coming into the season, and they played him at quarterback against Glasgow, and he had to finish the game against Apo, and then he decided to move to Nev Lambert, who is more of a natural quarterback, according to Barry Zender. Did not start the game for a reason we did not get a specific answer to, but he is in now and flanked on both sides. He is actually standing on the goal line in the shotgun position. It's a quick give to Pollard up the middle, and Pollard barrels over the left tackle and gets back to the original line of scrimmage, actually just shy of that at the 10-yard line. 31 seconds left to play, and it looks like Newark is going to take a timeout. No, actually, William Penn is going to take a timeout. I guess Marvin Dooley would like to get the ball back. We're going to take it with him. It's 21-0. William Penn over Newark. You're listening to Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week and watching it live on 302 Sports. Welcome back to Bill Cole Stadium. It's 3rd and 12 for the Newark Yellow Jackets. The ball on their own 10-yard line. Nev Lambert making his first appearance on this series. Came into the season, the third-string quarterback, was anointed the starter last week, but did not start today's game. Sharp goes in motion, and it's an end around to Sharp. He tries to get around the right side. Ortiz slows him down. He escapes a couple tackles, gets back to the original line of scrimmage. He's still on his feet. Sharp spitting out of a couple tackles and finally taken out of bounds, but not before picking up a first down. So just an incredible run by Michael Drumgo Sharp, a guy playing football for the very first time, gives Newark a first down on the 27-yard line. Only 17 seconds left. William Penn called the last time out, hoping to stop Newark and get the ball back in decent position and maybe make a run at a quick 6. Instead, Michael Sharp on the end around, just a huge run to pick up the first down. There were several opportunities for William Penn to make the tackle, and when Marvin Dooley looks at that on film tomorrow, I think he's just going to have to tip his hat to Michael Sharp, because that was just an incredible run. And time has run out here, and Barry Zender looks like he's confused about why it ran out. I'm not sure. I guess they started the clock after the ball was set, which is the rule, but now Zender is talking to him because they went out of bounds, but maybe it looked like Sharp was tackled out of bounds, but I guess what happened is they said that he was not out of bounds. And so either way, the clock ticked away, much to the surprise of the Newark Yellow Jackets and, quite frankly, myself as well. So that's going to bring us to the half. Greg May is going to have a studio report for you. William Penn, 21, Newark, nothing. It's homecoming here at Bill Cole Stadium, and you're listening to the football game of the week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports. We'll be back for second half. Listen for the third quarter, and then if Tyler wants to do it, he can do it for the fourth quarter. Okay?
I can't talk though?
No.
Or else it'll go live, right?
I'm going to have you turned off. Kickoff, is that a 95-yarder? I keep saying it, but 95?
90.
90, okay, thanks.
I don't know if the guys are playing ball. You know, they're 2 up their last 2 minutes.
First time? Oh, he's
He's
watching
watching
the
the
band.
band. He was down on the grass.
There may come a time where they have to. All you do is run, and all teams have to do is game plan is run.
What headsets do I wear?
Huh?
What headsets? Hello?
Everything good though?
Hello?
Doing everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine.
Oh, it's on.
No, but no.
Yeah, the first set.
Can I talk in it?
No, I was catching the heads of people.
Just listen.
Yeah, well, can you talk in it?
They're on it.
He's going to listen for the third quarter. If you want to listen during the fourth quarter, you can.
Oh, you don't have to talk anymore? You don't have to talk anymore?
You do, yeah.
Like when?
Are the bottoms coming from fire pit?
Maybe.
Where's mom?
Yeah.
She said what?
Mr. Bill. Headsets on. See, it's worn, right? Boy. Oh, you're gonna be really
Do not touch buttons.
got a YouTube channel? Oh yeah, I seen this. You got you on there? Talking? Like a joke? Getting your crown off? Was last year. 2 years ago. Yeah. You know about his video on your YouTube channel. I just want to check it out for you. I like it. I add it to heart.
Welcome back to Bill Cole Stadium, where the Colonials have a halftime lead of 21-0 over the Newark Yellow Jackets. Thanks so much to Greg May for that great halftime report. We're ready to kick off here. William Penn kicking off to Newark. They get the ball on the 25-yard line. Actually, it's fumbled away. That's Jerome Jones, but he goes back and picks it up. He tries to scamper around the right side, and he's going to be forced out of bounds. They're going to mark it at about the 25-yard line. So Newark will have the ball. They actually put together a couple decent series in the first half, but were unable to punch it in when push came to shove. So Nev Lambert we'll see if he's coming onto the field. He did not start the game, although he has been anointed as the starting quarterback for the Yellow Jackets. Andrew Del Percio broke his fibula in the Appoquinimink game. He is out for the foreseeable future. There's a penalty. They're calling a face mask penalty against William Penn. So instead of starting at the Newark 25, the Yellow Jackets are going to have much better field position than that. That is the 7th penalty against William Penn. They came into this game with 49 miscues with the yellow flag. And so it's going to be the ball on the 30-yard line for the Newark Yellow Jackets. 1st and 10 on the right hash. Lambert is in the game. Going in motion is Michael Sharp from left to right. The give is to Alex Pollard, the big fullback. He tries to cut around the edge, jumps over one of the defenders, and gets it up to about the 32-yard line. Going to bring up a 2nd down for Newark. We have an injury on the field. A William Penn player is down, and so while they tend to him, we're going to take our first break. We just started the second half here. William Penn 21, Newark nothing. You're listening to Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week and watching it live on 302 Sports. Second and 8, ball on the 32-yard line for the Newark Yellow Jackets to start the second half. It's a bundled snap there, and Lambert just ends up falling on it on the 27-yard line. So a bad snap, couldn't be handled, and of course as soon as in high school football, as soon as you go down onto the field, they call it down. Kyle Wallace was the injured William Penn player, the big defensive end, 6'3", 215 pounds. Helped off the field there. It's going to be Newark's ball. 3rd and 12, actually 3rd and 13. Ball on the 27-yard line. Sharp and Velez are lined up out at the right wide receiver position where they'll be stacked. 2 guys in the backfield. Looks like Woods and Pollard. Lambert in the pistol formation. He drops back. He's looking to throw. He's flushed out by Gaynor, who gives chase and drags him down from behind. A nice play by the defensive back. Gaynor, he comes out of the pile with the ball, but they're going to call him down. Lambert tackled, sacked at the 20-yard line. So Newark is going to be forced to punt on its first possession here, and a 3 and out for the Yellow Jackets. For William Penn, that was a nice job by Gaynor, who got around his man. He's a defensive captain listed at 5'7", 170 pounds, and he did a nice job getting around his man in order to drag down Lambert from behind. Lambert was trying to get the ball out to one of his wide receivers, Velez or Sharp, but never even had that opportunity. So into punt for Newark is Alan Becker. He's had 2 bad snaps pushed back there. One went sailing over his head into the end zone. This is another low snap, but he handles it as he's done well both games we've watched him play. The punt is away, and it is going to be caught by Isaiah Velez and down. So William Penn is going to have good field position. They are going to start on the Newark 37-yard line, trying to punch one in here and pick up a score. They lead 21-0, 9:47 to play here in the third quarter. It's homecoming here at William Penn. It's also the 50th anniversary of the school, and they're going to have a big Hall of Fame, the 2nd annual Hall of Fame induction. We'll talk a little bit more about that. A future star quarterback here at William Penn, one of the guys going in. So it is 1st and 10 for William Penn, moving left to right. The give is to Joe Greenwood, and he gets brought down at the line of scrimmage, maybe picked up a yard on the forward progress. A host of Yellow Jackets coming out of that pile, including Mackay Pressey. Eric Jones was an all-state performer here at William Penn. He led his team to a state championship, and he went on to Delaware State, where he was a 4-year player. Never had a losing season at Delaware State, led them to 2 MEAC championships, and he's now involved in youth sports. He actually coaches one of my son's football games. So Eric Jones, just a great legend here at William Penn, one of many as this we talked about is one of the best programs in the country in Delaware history. The give is to Gaynor. He tries to get around the left end, escapes the tackle, comes back around all the way to the right side, a lot of east to west, but now he's got across the 20 to the 15, leaps over the defender and is knocked out at the 8-yard line. He literally jumped over Nevon Lambert, the quarterback, also playing defensive back for the Yellow Jackets, and this crowd got excited when that happened. A great run there by Isaiah Gaynor is going to give William Penn a first and goal at the 9-yard line. So if the William Penn Colonials were looking for a spark here in the second half, they got it on that leap there. Maybe the track coach was watching. That certainly looked like a track move by Gaynor. Isaiah Gaynor is one of the captains here, only a junior, so an underclassman captain for the William Penn Colonials. They've got the ball first and goal marked at the 9-yard line. Two backs offset, and Burton in at quarterback takes the snap. He's trying to get around the left side. They're using his athletic ability. He gets across the 10 to the 5, working his way to the end zone, stretches across. Is he in? Yes, touchdown. Zach Burton. So a surprise move by Marvin Dooley, putting Zach Burton in at the quarterback position where he started the season, and he ends up going in for the 10-yard score. So Zach Burton has put William Penn up 27-0 on his 10-yard scamper into the end zone. And that is something that we know Zach Burton can do, is run the football. In fact, he was put at the quarterback position at the beginning of the season, and the reason he was switched off of that is because teams were easily able to focus on him. He's such a gifted runner, and so they wanted to get the ball in his hands in other ways. The extra point is up, and it is good. So with 8:26 to play, William Penn has extended its lead to 28-0. You're listening to the Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week and watching it live on 302 Sports. Welcome back to Bill Cole Stadium, where Zach Burton's 10-yard scamper around the left side into the end zone with 8:26 to play here in the third quarter has given William Penn a 28-0 lead. Ryan Robertson kicks off for Penn, and it's going to be fielded by the freshman Isaiah Velez at the 18-yard line. He gets out to the right side, gets some open room across the 40 to the 45, and out, actually just shy. Actually at the 45, they're going to give him out there at the 45-yard line. So a nice return there by Isaiah Velez, getting a little bit of open space out on the right side. So Nev Lambert will be back in at quarterback. He started last week against Concord, got his first varsity experience. He was 7 of 12 for 86 yards, had 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. He did not start today's game. Instead, Makai Pressey did, but Nev Lambert is in to start the second half of this game. Runs onto the field with the play. Newark's going to have the ball at their own 45-yard line, going right to left as we see it. 2 backs in the backfield, offset on each side. Velez goes in motion right to left. Actually, that was Sharp going in motion. The give is up the middle. Tackle made by number 22, Lance Edwards for Penn. It's going to be a loss of about half of yard. And I believe Sharp is down on the field, and something wrong with his right leg. The training staff is coming out to take a look at him. While they're doing that, we're going to go ahead and take another break. It's 28-0 William Penn over Newark. You're listening to the Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week and watching it live on 302 Sports. And I guess we'll be keeping it right here as they are over tending to the injured Yellow Jacket, and Sharp is up. And if Shannon McCants is listening to this, he'll be glad to know that Sharp is a star on the basketball team. We watched him broadcast a couple of his games last year. He limps So that is always a good thing. So Newark is going to have the ball 2nd and 11. The ball is on the 44-yard line. And so they are making sure that they get the right play in here. And the Yellow Jackets now are back onto the field. So it was not an official timeout. It was an injury timeout. So Nev Lambert has his crew back out. And he's going to be in the shotgun position with backs on both sides of him. That's Pollard and Sutton. Wide receivers, one out to the right, one out to the left. And it's a quick out. It's got his man. That's Velez there. Hauls it in at the 48-yard line. So a little bit of a slant pattern there. And a nice throw and catch from Lambert to Velez. Lambert just a sophomore and Velez a freshman. So we may see a lot of that in the years to come. Going to bring up a 3rd and 3. They've got the ball spotted on the 48-yard line. And so Newark needs to get to the 45 to pick up a first down. They've picked up a couple first downs in this game, but they've also had more 3 and outs. So Barry Zender's got to be glad that his team is moving the football here early in the second half. 6:59 to play. William Penn 28, Newark 0. Sharp is back in the game. Goes in motion left to right, and the give is up the middle, and that's to Brian Sutton. Actually, it was around the right side. He tried to get up the middle, got forced out to the right, and he gets brought down. They are going to give him a loss of a couple yards. They're going to take it back to the Newark 48-yard line, so it's going to bring up a 4th and 7. Now, Newark went for it on 4th and long at their own 35-yard line. We'll see what they do here with 4th and long at their own 48-yard line. They need to get 7 yards. That would take it to the 45-yard line of William Penn. A late substitution here for Penn. We'll see if they can get off the field. The second defender is coming off right now. Newark's trying to maybe look to snap it, and William Penn jumps off sides. And so that could, if they do call the defense offside, it's going to make it a shorter 4th down conversion here. We'll see what they call it. Waiting for the referee to signal. It is offsides, encroachment, and so that is going to be the 8th penalty for William Penn. They're averaging over 9.5 a game, so they're getting close to that, and we're still only halfway through this 3rd quarter. So Nev Lambert's got his team moving, 4th and 2, and it looks like Barry Zender is going to take a timeout. There's some confusion in the Newark backfield. So we will take the timeout with them. William Penn with a 28-0 lead over Newark, 5:57 to play here in the 3rd quarter. You're listening to the Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week and watching it live on 302 Sports. Fourth and 2 and a long pass from Nev Lambert down the right sideline, trying to get a number there. Tough to see these yellow numbers. It looks like Michael Sharp hauled in the pass there, and so a big 4th down conversion. Going to bring up a first down. They're going to mark the ball on the William Penn 15-yard line. So Sharp continues to excel as a receiver here for the Newark Yellow Jackets. 2 big catches for touchdowns last week. Had a big catch for a long gain in the first half here, and a big play there for the Yellow Jackets on a 4th and 2. We're going to bring up a 1st and 10. Ball on the 15-yard line. John Busby here with you with the Game of the Week. Marty Sheehan not with us today. We'll look forward to having him back next week. Trips to the left and one back in the backfield, and it looks like a design run for Lambert. He tries to head out to the left and gets forced back to the right. He's trying to get around the edge, and he's hauled down from behind. Taryn Cochran with the big tackle for William Penn. They're going to mark him out at looks like the 18-yard line. There is a flag down as well. We'll see what that's all about. I'm not sure if Cochran maybe grabbed him by the helmet on the tackle there. It's about as far away on the field as we can get from the press box, so we'll see what it is. They're going to mark the ball on the 20-yard line. It looks like they've picked the flag up. At least the ref who threw it picked it up, and now we're going to get the call from the referee. It was a holding call that was declined by William Penn because of the 5-yard loss. So it will not be a penalty. It is going to bring up a 2nd and 15. Newark lined up on the 20-yard line of William Penn. 2 wide receivers stacked to the left, 1 out to the right. Backfield is full, and a little screen pass out to Sutton, and he gets brought down at the 21-yard line. A nice tackle there by Isaiah Gaynor, one of the 4 captains here for William Penn. So a well-designed play, just didn't have the result that they were looking for. Going to bring up a 3rd down and 16. The ball is on the William Penn 21-yard line. This is certainly 2-down territory, I would think, at this point, the way Barry Zender has been going, unless you're going to bring Zach Dakin in to try a long field goal. He's kicked 1 this season. He's a soccer player, so he certainly knows how to boot the ball. It's on the left hash mark, 21-yard line, 3rd and 16 for the Yellow Jackets. 2 wide receivers, Sharp and Velez, stacked to the left. Over on the right is Mackay Pressey. 2 backs in the backfield. William Penn almost jumps off sides. They get back, and Lambert drops back looking to throw. He's flushed out of the pocket, and he zips it outside, looking to Sharp down on the 11-yard line. Incomplete pass, going to bring up a 4th down. So William Penn was fortunate there that they jumped off sides but didn't make contact, and the ball wasn't snapped, so they got back out of the neutral zone. Otherwise, it would have been their 9th penalty of the day. They averaged 9.5. Newark also comes in struggling with the penalty department. They average almost 9 a game, but have just the 2 penalties, both early in the first half. So if Barry Zender is going to take something positive out of today's game, which they're trailing 28-0 with 4:45 to play, it's going to be that they seem to have gotten the penalties under control. 2 wide receivers stacked to the left, 4th and 6. Lambert drops back. He looks over the middle, and it's incomplete. He was trying to get the ball to Mackay Pressey, and in on the coverage there was Taryn Cochran. So it's going to be a turnover on downs. William Penn is going to take over with a 28-0 lead, 4:38 to play here in the 3rd quarter. They're going to mark the ball on the 21-yard line for William Penn. William Penn in its other possession, the first possession and only possession of the second half, scored when Zach Burton scampered from 10 yards out around the left side and stretched out into the end zone to put the Colonials up 28-0. William Penn trying to stretch its record to 5-1. Their only blemish, a loss here at home to Middletown. They've got the ball in the right hash mark, 1st and 10, ball on the 21-yard line. The give is up the middle to Greenwood. He's spun around and brought down at the 26-yard line. So a pickup of just shy of 5 yards, going to bring up a 2nd down for the Colonials. William Penn trying to get back to the playoffs for the 3rd year in a row. They, of course, won the state championship 2 years ago. Marvin Dooley here in his 4th year has kind of brought this program back to where it once was, which was one of the best in the state. 9 state championships, and, of course, Newark the only one that can top that with 10. 2nd and 5. The give is up the middle, and the tackle is made by the defense. Lance Edwards had the carry there, going to bring up a 3rd down. He picked up about 2 yards. They're going to mark it at the 29-yard line. And we've got an injured player down. That is Tyreek Booker, the 245-pound lineman for the Newark Yellow Jackets. The training staff is heading out onto the field. That's going to give me a chance to remind you to tune in. UD is at William and Mary today, and they kick off at 3:30, which should be just as we are wrapping things up here at Bill Cole Stadium. So tune in and hear Scott Klatskin and Matt Jansen bring you all the action on our sister station, 94.7 WDSD. I know I'll be tuning in on my ride home. The Blue Hens unexpectedly struggling this year. This was a year that they were supposed to make the playoffs. Now they still have a chance, obviously, but opening up with 2 conference losses, a lot of people are saying this is almost a must-win against William and Mary. It used to be the Blue Hens could have 4 losses and still get in the playoffs, but that reputation has long passed, unfortunately, and so take probably a maximum. And they're not going to be able to have more than 3 losses, and if they were to lose today, that would give them their third loss of the field, but looks like he's going to be okay. William Penn with the ball, 3rd and 2 on the 29-yard line. Gildersleeve tries the belly handoff. He does to Greenwood. Greenwood gets across the 40 to the 45 to the 50, cuts back across the 40, breaks a couple tackles, and then is finally brought down at the 34-yard line by Daquan Woods. So a nice play there on the give up the middle, and Greenwood turned it into something bigger with a nice run to the 39-yard line of Newark. Newark now trying to keep them out of the end zone, because if William Penn manages to score, it's going to give them, assuming they make the extra point, a 35-0 lead, and that would turn this game into a running clock. And a loss is one thing, but no team wants to have a running clock against them. That's almost the ultimate no-no as an opposing team. 1st and 10. They're going to mark it at the 40-yard line. Slot man on the left. The toss is to Greenwood to the left. He gets around the end, cuts it back up to the 30, almost to the 30. 32-yard line is where he gets dragged down. So a nice pickup of about 8 yards for Joe Greenwood. He comes into the game with 5 touchdowns. One of the senior captains on this team. Going to bring up a 2nd and 2 for the Colonials. They're now over on the left hash mark, so took advantage of being on the right hash mark, sending Joe Greenwood around to the left. Coming in is Gildersleeve, and also checking in is Edwards. I shouldn't say Gildersleeve's coming in. He's coming from the sideline where he was out getting the play. 2nd and 2. Ball on the 32-yard line for William Penn. Gildersleeve is in the shotgun position. That's Cochran lined up to the right. It's a pitch to the right to Greenwood. Greenwood trying to find room and quickly gets taken down, but is still driving and picks up a few yards to the 26-yard line. So a nice job there by Joe Greenwood, who was wrapped up at the 30 and then dragged a couple of Newark Yellow Jackets with him. In on that tackle was Michael Earl, who comes into the game with 23 tackles. Going to bring up a 1st down on the 27-yard line for William Penn. Trying to get into the end zone and extend this lead to 35-0 and get this clock running so they can get on with the homecoming festivities here at William Penn. Gildersleeve takes a snap. It's a quick blast up the middle, and that's Ortiz, who has one of the touchdowns today, but he's tackled down there after a pickup of about, now they're going to mark it at the original line of scrimmage. That was Mackay Pressey on the tackle. Pressey comes in with 14 tackles, 1 interception on the day. They actually are going to give him that 1 yard I talked about. The one ref just didn't move till just now. And so it's going to have the ball on the 26-yard line. And so a nice drive here by William Penn. This drive started back at the Newark 21, or at their own 21-yard line after Newark was forced to give the ball away on a punt. Snap is back. Gildersleeve's got it. He's looking to the end zone, trying to get Cochran off his tips. He stretched out, covers there by Velez. So almost a perfect throw, just not able to haul it in. But the nice thing for Gildersleeve is he threw it where only his man was going to come down with it. Unfortunately, Taryn Cochran could not come down with it. He does have 1 receiving touchdown this season. His other 2 touchdowns were on punt returns, 1 before today and 1 today to get that second score, a 40-yard punt return. And we do have a correction on the kickoff return by Keith Johnson, which started this game. It was an officially marked as a 90-yard return of a touchdown, and that kind of sparked the homecoming festivities here, and William Penn hasn't looked back since. 3rd and 9 to give, and now there's a little miscue in the back, and exchange that was fumbled, but it's going to turn into a good thing as Gildersleeve scampering toward the end zone for the score. So what started out as a bobbled snap is going to turn into a 26-yard touchdown scramble by Gildersleeve, who's picking up, I believe that's his first touchdown of the season. And so Gildersleeve manages to turn what was almost a disaster into a 26-yard touchdown run to give William Penn a 34-0 lead here against the Yellow Jackets. So after Gaynor and Gildersleeve almost fumbled it away, all's well that ends well. 26-yard touchdown reception. Ryan Robertson in trying to put up his 5th consecutive extra point. It's up, and it is good. And so that is going to take us to the running clock situation as William Penn has a 35-0 lead over Newark. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week and watching it live on 302 Sports. Welcome back to Bill Cole Stadium, where we're in a running clock situation. The third quarter has ended. As soon as William Penn kicks it off, it will be the start of the fourth quarter. And the Colonials have a 35-0 lead over the Newark Yellow Jackets here on homecoming day for the William Penn Colonials. So you've got exactly what you want if you're the hometown team on homecoming, and your football team has a big lead heading into the fourth quarter of what's going to be a prelude to what I assume will be a homecoming dance tonight. The homecoming court was announced at the half. And so kicking off is going to be Ryan Robertson. Velez is back deep along with number 11, Jerome Jones. The kick is away, and it looks like it's going to go to Jerome Jones. He's going to get it as his own 24-yard line. He fumbles the ball. It's on the ground, but it looks like he may have recovered it on his own 25-yard line. So first time Jones touched the ball, almost fumbled it away, but to his credit, he got it back. So Newark is going to have the ball starting on their own 25-yard line, trying to salvage something here, trailing 35-0 early in the fourth quarter. And they're hoping, what Barry Zender's hoping is that maybe his club can put together something here on the offensive side of things. So they've run onto the field. Nev Lambert is under center. He didn't start the game, but he did start the second half. He's been anointed as the starter for this team, but for one reason or another, Makai Pressey ended up starting at quarterback earlier today to start this game. A bad snap. Lambert pulls it in, looks up the middle. It's almost intercepted, falls incomplete. He was trying to find Sharp down the middle. And Collins, Adu Giamfi, we've called his name a few times, had that ball sail right through his hands. He's frustrated with himself. Not many times he has a chance to have a big interception there. Almost had one there. So it'll bring up a 2nd and 10 for the Yellow Jackets. John Busby here with you today. Marty Sheehan under the weather, but we hope we should be back with us next week at AI DuPont. We're at the 10:20 mark. William Penn has a 35-0 lead, and we are in a running clock situation here. The Yellow Jackets were in one against Concord last week as well. 1st and 10 on the 25. A quick out to Velez, and Velez is quickly taken down. Among them, Angelo Ortiz in on the tackle there. So a nice quick out. There is a flag down on the play. The ball is being marked at the 20-yard line. Marvin Dooley is questioning the refs, which makes me seem that it's going to be against William Penn. We'll see what the call is here. William Penn's already struggling with injuries. It's going to be a personal foul, face mask against William Penn. So that's their 3rd penalty of the second half, their 9th overall, which basically gets them to their average. This one's going to really hurt them as they're going to end up marking the ball all the way up on the 45-yard line. The face mask was on the tackle, which was at the 30-yard line, so you tack the 15 yards onto that, and it takes you to the 45. So a good break for the Newark Yellow Jackets. 9:13 to play. They trail 35-0, moving left to right as we see it in their yellow jerseys, black pants, gold helmets, and the yellow numbers, which my former broadcast partner Matt Pensick would say is always tough. Fumble on the exchange there, and quickly, very heads-up play by Newark. And they end up falling on the ball. That's big number 79, Luke Parker, 290-pound defensive lineman who falls on it. So after getting a nice break on the penalty there, it's not how you want to start off the next play on the fumbled exchange there between quarterback and running back. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 15, so a loss of 5 Newark back on its own 40-yard line. 8:28 to play here in the fourth quarter. William Penn with a 35-0 lead, a running clock situation here at homecoming at Bill Cole Stadium. The school also celebrating its 50th anniversary. Lambert is in the shotgun formation, and if you're watching this on the live stream, you just saw a William Penn defensive player get a big jump, and it's going to be a penalty, and that's going to be the 10th. So the 5 yards that Newark lost, they've now got back, and it's going to set up a 2nd and 10 situation for Newark, moving left to right. They've got 2 wide receivers stacked on the right side. That's Velez and Sharp, 1 wide receiver out to the left. 2 back split. Sharp goes in motion from right to left, and it's a quick give up the middle to Sutton, and Sutton picks up about 2 yards before being taken down at the 47-yard line. Actually, that give was to Daquan Woods. Woods comes in averaging 4.8 yards a game. Hasn't touched the ball very often today. Picked up 2 yards there. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 8, 7:18 to play here in the fourth quarter. Newark comes out of the huddle. They're going to be on their 47-yard line. 3rd and 8. 2 wide receivers on the right here. That's Sharp and Velez. They're trying to stack up. The referee's talking to them. Not sure what he's saying, but it gives William Penn an opportunity to get an 11th player on the field as Cody Pyle sprints in. Otherwise, William Penn would have been playing defense with 10. So Sharp and Velez are now stacked on the right, and it's going to be Sharp who goes in motion from right to left. Lambert, a quick screen out to the left, and a fumble there on the play. That was Brian Sutton on the catch, but then fumbled away. Looks like they're going to call him down, and Newark is going to keep it, but they're going to end up losing about 5 yards on the play. It's going to bring up a 4th down. We'll see what Barry Zenders does. He's gone for it a couple times on 4th down and been successful, so we will see what he decides to do here. And it looks like Navon Lambert is coming in, or staying in, I should say. He's coming in after getting the play. It looks like they're going to go for it. I think Barry Zender probably thinks we have nothing to lose. Why not try to do it? Ball is on the 42-yard line, and it is 4th and 13. 2 wide receivers split out here to the right, Isaiah Velez and Sharp, 1 out to the left, and Sharp goes in motion from right to left, and it's a quick punt by Lambert. It's a little squib kick. It's going to end up bouncing and then coming back here to the 35-yard line where a Newark player will down it. So William Penn is going to have the ball 1st and 10 on their own 35-yard line. So I like that call by Zender. You know, I think you're down. The clock's running. You got 5 minutes left. No sense making the situation worse than it already is. So a quick punt, I should say, by Lambert, and William Penn is going to take over on its own 35-yard line. Tune in to the Blue Hens Football Coaches Show every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on 94.7 WDSD. As the voice of the Blue Hens, Scott Klatskin talks UD football with head coach Dave Brock. And a big thanks to our newest partner, NKN Films, for their outstanding design on our 2016 high school football schedule poster. You can see it at foxsports1290am.com and visit nknfilms.com for all your video needs. 1st and 10 for William Penn. Ball on the 35-yard line. We've got a new quarterback in there, Noah Ogbin. And a flag on the play as he gives the ball up the middle. The give is to Nazir Banks. And so Marvin Dooley is emptying out the bench, it looks like here. We'll see what this flag is all about. It was thrown toward the back end of the William Penn. It is going to be against William Penn. We'll see whether or not Barry Zender wants to take it or not. He is, so they're going to march it off. It was an illegal motion for Newark. So the 5th penalty for William Penn in the second half, 11th overall. So Marvin Dooley certainly doesn't need to look far to find out something that they can improve here before going in to their next game next week, which will be against Concord High School on Saturday morning. So a tough one for the Colonials coming up next week. They'll need to clean those penalties up. 1st and 15, ball on the 30. Ogbin in at quarterback, and the give is up the middle, and a quick scamper, pickup of about 6 yards, and that's Nazir Banks again on the carry. And so he got a little bit of the penalty yardage back, +2, going to bring up the 2nd down. 3:55 to play. William Penn with a 35-0 lead over Newark in a running clock situation here at Bill Cole Stadium. John Busby here going solo today. Marty Sheehan under the weather. Miss having him here by my side. Nick Halliday producing for 302 Sports, and Greg May doing the same for us back in the studio. And so it's going to bring up a 2nd and 7, ball on the 38-yard line. Man goes in motion. That's Jared Gore from left to right. Gore hasn't touched the ball yet today. Ogwin steps back. He's under pressure. He throws the ball up in the middle. Could be picked off. It is picked off at the 50, 40-yard line. Knocked down. That looked like Velez, trying to see those yellow numbers on the white jerseys. It is Velez with his 3rd interception of the day. So kind of something finally positive for Newark with Velez with the interception. Ogwin kind of just threw that one up there, and Velez got his eyes on it and came down, made sure he made the catch, and a little bit of a run back here. They're going to mark it on the 38-yard line. So Newark will take over on the William Penn 38-yard line. A nice job by Velez. Velez, of course, only a freshman, so impressive on both sides of the ball. We talked about how he had a couple nice catches last week, and now here he is coming up with a nice defensive play, his 3rd interception of the season. Lambert looking down the middle, looking for Sharp. He's got Sharp at the 16-yard line, hauls it in, so a little life here for Newark. Sharp gets up limping a little bit, but a nice throw and catch. Sharp seems to always do good things whenever the ball goes his way, and Lambert was able to find him down the middle all the way to the 15-yard line. So Newark's not done yet. They've got 2 minutes to go here, so they got to kind of run a 2-minute offense, try to keep from being shut out here at William Penn. The Colonials are going to celebrate homecoming with a win. The question is whether it's going to be a shutout win or not. Backs on both sides of Lambert, moving his wide receivers around. Velez and Sharp lined out to the right. They're not stacked like they've been the whole game. Lambert's back, looking, and a ball is dropped. He had his man. That was Velez, and Velez looked like he lifted his head before the ball hit his hand. So going to bring up a 2nd down on the 15-yard line for Newark. Barry Zender over sending the play in for Lambert. Lambert has been anointed the starting quarterback, so we assume he will start for the rest of the season, barring an injury or some other circumstance. He's in at the shotgun position. He's got Daquan Woods on his right, and it looks like Sutton on his left. He's dropping back to pass in the pocket. Nice protection there. He scampers around the left side, gets to the 10-yard line, and then he's tackled there. It looks like he might have lost the ball, but it looks like he fell on it. And so Newark is going to maintain possession. It looks like they're going to be about a pickup of about 3 yards, maybe 2 yards. They're going to mark him at the 13-yard line. Going to bring up a 3rd and 8 with 49 seconds left to play. Somebody's called a timeout here, so we're going to take our final break of the game. It's 35-0 William Penn over Newark. You're listening to Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week and watching it live on 302 Sports. Welcome back to Bill Cole Stadium. John Busby going solo today. 49 seconds left to play. William Penn's got a 35-0 lead over Newark. Newark trying to get in the end zone. Lambert drops back, and he throws it into the corner, and coming down with it is a touchdown. In the left corner here, that looked like Mike Sharp again with a score. So every time Sharp touches the ball, he seems to do good things with it. Trying to confirm that these yellow numbers are tough to see. Actually, that was Makai Pressey, so it was number 7, not number 17. So a nice job there by Pressey hauling in that catch and putting Newark on the board with 43 seconds left to play, and the clock does stop. It's 35-6, William Penn. Newark in on the extra point. The kick is up, and it is good. So with 43 seconds left to play, we're going to keep it right here. Newark has gotten on the board 35-7 on Pressey's touchdown catch in the end zone. Just when you thought it looked like they were going to be shut out they get on the scoreboard there. So a nice job by Lambert finding Pressey. It was an impressive catch in the left corner of the end zone there. 35-7, William Penn over Newark. 43 seconds left to play here. So Barry Zender's got to be happy with that situation there, with the throw and the catch between his newly anointed starting quarterback and the veteran, Makai Pressey, who was the quarterback after Andrew Del Percio went down. So Newark's going to get ready to kick off here with a trailing 35-7. This game's in the books from all intensive purposes with 43 seconds left to play, but it is no longer a running clock, so William Penn will have a chance to see if they can. It'll be interesting to see what they try to do. You know, do you try to work on a last-minute drive, or do you just take a couple knees and get out of here? Zach Dakin getting ready to kick off. The kick is a little bit of a squib kick, not an onside kick, but it does bounce around and cause some confusion in the backfield. It's finally brought in there by Keith Johnson, who, of course, opened this game with a long touchdown run, and he is tackled at the 29-yard line. Coming up on the Concord Pets Foods and Supplies post-game show, we'll recap the ball game, announce our Crown Trophy player of the game, and look ahead to next Friday's game of the week. It's all coming up right after the game on the Concord Pet Foods and Supplies post-game show. So the William Penn offense is going to come out onto the field. They have a first down with the ball on the 25-yard line. We'll see what they decide to do here, whether they're just going to take a knee and head to the locker room to enjoy the homecoming festivities. The ball is going to be lined up directly between the hash marks, and it looks like they might be in kneel-down formation. We'll see what happens here. The snap is back, and sure enough, they take a knee. So with 33 seconds left to play, Newark certainly is not going to call a timeout. Both teams are heading to their respective sidelines where they'll gather on the 50-yard line and shake hands. 23 seconds left to play. Teams are lining up to shake hands. We're going to call it a wrap here at Bill Cole Stadium. Your final score, William Penn 35, Newark 7. We'll be back for the Concord Pet Foods postgame show right after this. Sit right here. Welcome back to Bill Cole Stadium, where the William Penn Colonials celebrate homecoming with a big 35-7 win over the Newark Yellow Jackets in a game that took 2 hours and 2 minutes, a running clock for the majority of the third quarter, or for all of the third quarter, most of the fourth. William Penn moves its record to 5-1. Newark drops to 1-5 on the season. A quick scoring rundown of today's game. Keith Johnson started it off with a 90-yard touchdown run right on the opening kickoff to give William Penn a 7-0 lead with just 11:47 to play in the first quarter. I should say just 13 seconds into the first quarter. The teams exchanged punts, and then when Newark punted for the second time, it was Taryn Cochran who ran it back 40 yards for a touchdown, and the extra point kick by Ryan Robertson, who was a perfect 5 for 5 today, gave William Penn a 14-0 lead with 5:28 to play in the first quarter. Newark punted, William Penn punted, Newark punted again, and then Andrew Ortiz scampered in from 10 yards out. The extra point made it 21-0, and that was your halftime score. Newark got the ball to start the second half, punted away on a 3-and-out, and Zach Burton ran 10 yards around the left side to give William Penn a 28-0 lead. Newark ended up punting again, and it was a 26-yard touchdown run by quarterback Jason Gildersleeve after an exchange that almost turned into a fumble, and Gildersleeve recovered and scampered in for a 35-0 lead with 27 seconds left to play, and that's how the third quarter ended with the running clock. Newark punted, and then William Penn brought in Noah Ogben. Unfortunately, Ogben threw an interception to Isaiah Velez, and it was Pressey who ended up on the end of a touchdown catch from Nev Lambert. So a nice job by Makai Pressey. That ended up being a touchdown catch for him, his second touchdown of the season. So that's your score recap. 35-7, William Penn over Newark as the Colonials move to 5-1. All right, the next games for these two teams. Newark is going to take their turn celebrating homecoming on Friday night against the Charter School of Wilmington, which is playing its last season in the Blue Hen Conference as the Force are making the move to the Diamond State Conference. Charter was 1-4 heading into its game this morning against Appoquinimink. William Penn travels to Concord for a traditional Saturday morning Raiders game with kickoff at 10:30 a.m. Concord is undefeated as they head to Baynard Stadium tonight to face Sally. So that's going to be the game, one of the games to watch next week for sure. William Penn at Concord Saturday morning at 10:30. All right, when we come back, I'll announce the Crown Trophy Player of the Game and talk about our next game here on Fox Sports 1290. You're listening to the High School Football Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports. Welcome back to Bill Cole Stadium, where the Colonials celebrate homecoming with a 35-7 win over the Newark Yellow Jackets. William Penn moves to 5-1. Newark drops to 1-5 on the season again. Game hours and 2 minutes. It's now time to announce our Crown Trophy Player of the Game. Crown Trophy and Glasgow and Wilmington have always been proud supporters of Fox Sports 1290 and the student athletes in the state of Delaware. Visit Crown Trophy for all the best in trophies. Letter sports balls. Continuing with the Crown Trophy tradition, each player of the game this season will win a customized Crown Trophy award plaque, and the school will receive one as well for its trophy case. Visit crowntrophy.com. Today's Crown Trophy Player of the Game is senior Keith Johnson. It was his 90-yard touchdown run on the opening kickoff that got this homecoming game off to the right start for the William Penn Colonials. And so, if you're Marvin Dooley, the one thing you would hope is to get a homecoming crowd excited and into the game right from the opening kick. And it was Keith Johnson that made that happen. Congratulations to our Crown Trophy player of the game, Keith Johnson. All right, next Friday we're heading to Greenville as the AI DuPont Tigers celebrate their homecoming against the St. Elizabeth Vikings. AI had put together 2 straight wins before losing last night to Middletown to fall to 2-4 on the season. So the Tigers are in a must situation to have any chance to make the playoffs. St. Elizabeth has been a tough team to figure out all season. We saw the Vikings dominate a McCain team on the opening night, but since then they've struggled. It's 7 o'clock kickoff at Tiger Stadium. I shouldn't say they've struggled. They had a nice win last night, but they've been off and on, it seems. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff at Tiger Stadium. And AI always gets a great turnout on homecoming, so it should be an exciting atmosphere. We'll have all the action for you right here on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports. Our coverage begins with the Glasgow Medical Aid Unit's pregame show at 6:30, followed by kickoff at 7. That'll do it tonight. A big thanks to our producer Greg May for keeping us up and running back in the Fox Sports 1290 studio, and Nick Halliday and his crew from 302 Sports on site here with us at the stadium. Looking forward to having Marty Sheehan back with me in the press box next week. I'm John Busby. Once again, the final score, William Penn 35, Newark 7. From here in Newcastle, until next week from Greenville, have a great sports week. Great job, Greg. Thanks for everything.